Hey everybody, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to set up the Actionmax platform using Hypseus Singe. We're going to be following up on the groundwork that we laid out in the previous video. So if you haven't watched that, I would highly recommend do so because we'll be using that build to use Actionmax to build upon. Now with the foundation and groundwork that we've done in the previous video, it's going to make setting Actionmax go super quickly. And we are going to spend some time on messing around with the batch file command arguments, just so it could help you get more used to using those, as well as to fit the Actionmax games to fit whatever your setup is where you want to run it. 4-3, stretch, bezels, without bezels, sending guns, non-sending guns. Just whatever you could think of, I want to get you comfortable in using those command arguments to have it to fit your needs. But the basic straight up setup itself to actually get these games running is going to be pretty close to drag and drop. Originally, I was going to show both methods of setting this up because you can use the legacy, which is the outdated way of doing it, which is pretty much I've always set these games up until the previous last few months. And now they have a new updated way. It's called the Z-Lua, and we're using the zip files. And we'll go over that, and I'll show you how to properly do that. The benefit of going that direction is a lot of these files can all be found on the archive site. So if you find them and you use them, but the issue is they're only as updated as when they're released. So some of these files might be 2 years old, 4 years old, 6 years old, or however much longer old from the beginning of this video. So by going the zip file route, we can go into the dirt bags on GitHub page and grab the updated zip files. Now what that does is it doesn't have any videos or the sounds, but it does update everything else. So the movement, the hitboxes, all the configurations. So they do a great job on the GitHub to make sure that these games do stay up to date. And as a recording of this video, there's actually already been some more updates for some of your Singe games. Captain Power, a new 2-player version release of Who Shot Johnny Rock, along with much better fluid game system, as well as the hitbox. It is a whole lot more improvements along the way. So I want to show you how to keep all that updated, and we're going to be setting up Actionmax, because knowing that is going to help us in the next part where we want to do the rest of the gun games, and we'll be doing the Singe, and we'll be doing all of them except for Captain Power. I want to do Captain Power series on its own, because there is some details to know about Captain Power, so you can really enjoy playing the game. All right, with my rambling out of the way, and I'm sure 80% of you already fast forward that. I don't blame you. I probably would have done so as well. But let's go ahead and get started. First thing you got to do is, of course, get our Actionmax ROMs. Now, as always, I can't tell exactly how to get it, but just put 2 and 2 together. Archive Org is going to be your best friend, and just whatever you're looking for. And we're looking for Actionmax today, so you can figure that part out. Now, whenever you download the Actionmax, you want to have 2 different versions of it. You want to have the regular Actionmax, which will be like 4 gigs, and then you're going to have the Actionmax Remix. So I'm going to be going through the Remix just because the audio sequence is a lot better. The video quality may be slightly poor, but again, it's Actionmax. The video quality is not going to be 4K or even 420. It's going to be your basic 80s VHS. But you can use whatever version you want to try. Either version will work exactly the same following these setups. A quick note, the download time coming off of Internet Archive can be super slow sometimes. In my case, it was running slow, so I've actually turned around and used the JDownloader 2 program, and it definitely sped up my download time. Archive Org, I was looking at almost 30 minutes, which is insane, but sometimes it can be fast too. But if you're going to come across a slow download on that, I would highly recommend use this program, JDownloader 2. Look in my video channel. I do have video over how to set this up, and this is a very useful tool. Of course, using this is completely optional. You can just download the zip file from archive off your browser just fine. Sometimes you just may have a very long wait. So that's up to you. I'm just throwing this option out there. All right, so once you finish downloading, you'll have a file right here. And depending on which version that you downloaded, it'll say something different. I got the Remux, so I might as well say Actionmax underscore Remux. If you don't have the Remux, it would just say Hypseus Singe Actionmax. You can open it up, look at the folder, and just make sure your content looks like mine. And if you do, then we're all on the same page. So go on to our next part. We're going to open up our Hypseus Singe that we created in the last video. And we're going to go to Hypseus Singe data to 11.5.1. Now, this is outdated, so in the next video, we're going to pull our folders from a different source, a more updated one. But for this particular one, Actionmax, this hasn't changed in the last 9 months. I really don't really see that changing anytime soon. But if it does, I will do an update video on that. But from this folder, you're going to go into the zipped ROMs. And you're going to pull out the Actionmax. I would just go ahead and click on it, right click and copy it. Then you want to go to the ROMs folder. Come to the ROMs. We're just going to paste it here. Okay, so after we have that in our ROMs, we want to come back to the Hypseus Singe data folder, go to Singe 1, and we want to take this folder here. So we're going to go ahead and right click and copy that one, and we're going to place this into our Singe folder. Go ahead and right click, paste that. Now we're going to delete some files here because we are using the zip method. So we're going to delete the files that we do not need. Just way to do that, we'll just sort it out. Click on your type. All right, so the MD file all the way down to the Sonic Fury. So you don't need the MDs, you don't need the PNGs. We go ahead and delete those. All right, next we'll go ahead and delete our Singe files all the way down to the true type font files. And then we're going to delete the wave files. All right, then we'll select our wave and we'll delete these. Now, the reason we don't need these in here is those are already taken care of in the zip file that's already been placed inside the ROMs. Next, we're going to need to add our video files. So like in here, all these are going to be empty. So we got to put our video files in for here. And then we need our base video files down here. So that's where the Actionmax that we downloaded, that's where that comes into play. The only thing we're pulling out of that is just the videos that we need. So I just want to go wherever you downloaded that to. I want to open up a zip, open this up. Scroll down here, and we're going to grab these 4 files at the bottom. I'm going to place those at the base of this Actionmax folder. So I'll just go back, show you, we're in our Singe, Actionmax, and then we're just going to drag and drop these right into here. All right, now we're going to do the same up here. If I double click on that, you can see these have video files. And then if I click over here, what we already have, we don't have any. So that's why we need these. Okay, so we can actually just drag and drop all these folders in here. So let's go ahead and highlight that, grab it, drag it, and drop it. All right, go ahead and close this out if we haven't already. And then we can check these files and see we do have our video files. Okay, and then one more thing, we need our batch files. So we need to go to our, all right, so go to our batch reference folder that we created to hold all the batch files that we have from previous video. And we're going to go down to the Actionmax. Let's go ahead and grab all these. Now, since I'm only concerned with the zip ROMs, you don't need the ones that don't have the zip ROMs. So you can actually just highlight those. We only want the Actionmax with the zipped ROMs. Then we can just go ahead, right click, copy it. Go to our batch, right click, copy them in here. All right, once you have them there, now if the gods respond upon us right now, we are set up and we're good to go. The light guns are actually just ready to play with this. So you can plug it in and your light gun will work if you're running the SendIn. Of course, you'll need to put up your bezel, or I will lay out some pre-made bezels you can use, so it will auto launch that bezel if you want it to. And we'll do that later on this video. Right now, I just want to get you going with just the straight basic necessities to start enjoying this. So let's go ahead and start 38 Ambush Alley. So everything goes good, you should start parsing your video, and that's going to happen at the very first of all your games. And then we start up again, and we should just boot right into the game. All right, let's go ahead and test out one more. All right, we're here parsing. We got the video. Everything looks good. Okay, now I want to go ahead and do the rest of these so I get my video parsed. I would recommend you do the same, and then I'll be back whenever I'm done. All right, so I got everything done. We have our Actionmax up here going. Okay, next let's go ahead and go over the batch file itself. First thing you want to do is add a bezel, and of course for SendIn users, you will definitely need this. As the if you put on the bezel yourself, it's not going to be totally accurate because it's going to be too big for the screen, and it's going to throw off your aim. So you would rather want to use this customized SendIn bezel that I created. It just adjusts more cleanly to the screen and gives you one-to-one aim. All right, so quickly going over this, we have the Hypseus Singe, which that's what starts off our program. These are our files. Frame file it looks for it to send Actionmax 38 Ambush Alley text. The Z Lua, which is the ROMs that looks for is the Actionmax right here. Now the use alts is a new one, and what this is, it tells Singe which game it wants to run. Because since we're only on Actionmax, so we have 5 different games, this points out the one we want to run. And it does that by pointing it to the 38 Ambush Alley text. So think of that as the internal game executable. And this just tells Singe it wants to start that way. Okay, then of course full screen. Always want full screen. If not, it'll be in Windows mode. Mini Mouse just allows you to use multiple mice. It does not give you multiple players, but it'll allow you access to use your light gun on top of your regular mouse. Grab mouse just leaves it, keeps the mouse from leaving off screen. And that's going to be the basis of what the batch file is going to be for Actionmax. Let's go ahead and add a new one for our bezel. Now, of course, if you're not seeing user, you're going to be using a different one than me. I want to have a bezel file for both SendIn and non-sendens for this, and you can always edit, add more you want. This is going to get you started. All right, so any change you make in here, be sure to save it. And of course, you want to always start with your dash bezel, and then you want a space and put the name of whatever your bezel is and add the .png. All right, close this out and let's go ahead and start the bezel. And it should automatically auto-populate the SendIn bezel. So this is it, just something basic. We don't have any outside artwork on here. This is just to get SendIn users going. Go ahead, escape out of here. Go ahead and download the bezel pack, and once you do, you'll have these bezels right here. So you'll have the non-sendens, and then you'll have the SendIn bezels. Of course, you can tell the difference, the border and the SendIn. Now let's go ahead and set these up in our batch files. Okay, let's go ahead and start the non-sending first. Of course, you'll want to be sure to get the name of that. So you got Ambush, Blue Thunder, Hydro Sub, etc. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with 38 Ambush Alley. Right-click that, rename it. I'm sorry. Edit, and then we'll fix it. So originally we have the Ambush SendIn. Now I'm just going to do that. Double check the name, Ambush. Save our batch file. Close it, and then you can open it up, and we should automatically start with our bezel. All right, and there we go. We have a Nice clean bezel for this. Now these bezels can be found inside the GitHub bezel folder. I just kind of made them a bit brighter, so I thought they were a little bit dark. And for the SendIn ones, I just added the border onto those bezels. So that's all the extra work I really did. Okay, now I want to set one up for descendants, but I want to make it separate. So I'm going to copy this one. I want to paste it. Now I'm just going to name this SendIn. All right, so now I know that one is going to be designated towards my SendIn guns. I'm going to right click, going to edit the notepad, and it should be ambush underscore SendIn. All the bezels should have the underscore send at the end. Make sure there's PNG at the end. Go ahead and save, and then we'll go ahead and start it up. And we should come with our SendIn bezel. All right, everything looks good there. All right, now let's go ahead and do the rest of our games. I'll do one more for example, and then I'll meet back up with everyone after I'm done. So we'll do Blue Thunder, right click, edit notepad. We're going to add our bezel command line argument. Let's get the name of that. So we are doing Blue Thunder. So it's just going to be a Blue Thunder. Easy enough. And remember to add the PNG at the end. File and save. Start the zipper on. All right, and we look good here. And of course, if we're doing the SendIn, I'm just going to copy this, paste it, rename that to underscore SendIn at the end. And I didn't mean to do that. Okay, now go ahead and edit this. Check my bezels, and it is blue underscore SendIn. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, and one more thing while you're doing this, you can go ahead and remove the pause feature. That'll just keep you from having to hit your button again to close that black screen after you close the game. So I'm actually going to do both of that. Or SendIn. I'm going to remove the pause feature. Save. Close this. Start it up. All right, everything here looks great. Escape out of here, and then just go ahead and repeat the process for the rest of the games. All right, next I want to talk about adjusting the video itself. Some of them is going to have this little tear on the bottom whenever you try to play. It may bother some, may not bother anybody, but to me, if I can fix it, I want to try to do that. I'll show you how to do it without affecting the aim of your gun. So escape out of here, and we want to use the SendIn for this first part. We want to edit notepad. So after your last line, go ahead and space out. And we want to add the scale factor 96, horizontal stretch to 5, vertical stretch to 5, and shifty to 10. The shifty, this is a shift Y, so that just adjusts the horizontal level. You have the horizontal stretch, which will basically just stretch out the image left to right, vertical stretch up and down. The reason you want left to right with this, you'll have a little bit where the video is faded, and that this will make it blend in with the bezel better. The scale factor will it will drop the video in a full aspect size. So instead of just cropping off one, it'll crop the entire video down. So normally if you do this on your own, I would start with the scale factor first and then adjust your horizontal stretches or vertical stretch where you need to after that. 96 works good for me on this. 95 or 90 may work on others. Of course, higher the number, then the less the scale factor is going to be. If you put it at 50, then the video will be 50% of the size. Okay, so now I'm just going to file and save this. Start this up, and now I should start without seeing any vertical tear on the bottom. And then I'm pretty flush on the sides. I don't have that faded out. Now, if we want to do it for the non-sinden, the numbers are going to vary just a little bit. All right, so on the non-sinden, you can really see the tear right here, and we have the faded out areas over here. So I want to minimize that as much as I can. I'm going to escape out of that. Okay, so for this one in particular, and every one of these might be different if you're going to adjust it. I find the rest of them, it's not that bad. Maybe a little bit in Sonic Fury, so it's up to you if you want to mess with that. We'll edit the non-sinden version here. And what we're going to do is everything the same except we're going to remove the scale factor. Since the Ascendant has that white border going across, it's going to cut off some of the upper and lower part of the video. So that's where the scale factor comes into play to fix that. But since we're not cutting anything off the center border for non-sentence, we don't need a scale factor. So just add in horizontal stretch 5, vertical stretch 5, and shift D at 10. If you don't do that shift D or that shift Y, it's basically shift Y axis 10. It's the image is going to be a little bit far to the left or right. I can't remember which direction it's going to be too much at, but this will correct that. Now, once we hop into here, we should not see the video tear, and we should not see the faded out at the ends. Okay, and one more thing before I let you go. Crosshairs. How do you take off crosshairs? Real simple. And for something like this, I just want to do a extra batch file for this. And I just want to call it no crosshairs. So we'll just come here. We're going to copy and paste it. Rename it. I'm just going to call it no crosshairs. All right. Now we're just going to edit that file out. Right click edit. And right here where it says options, these are what's recommended you can add. So we're just going to add the no crosshair on here. File and save. All right, we're going to start the game up. Now, take it back. I want to show you one more thing we can do with this. Make these, I think, just a little bit better, but it's up to you if you want those or not. I'm moving my mouse around, my gun around, and I am not seeing any crosshairs, so I know that's working for me. And we're going to add scanlines. I like scanlines, especially for this older stuff, because that's kind of how it was intended to be. And the scanlines will help. The scanlines will help kind of blend a little bit of the roughness together. Now, of course, it's not going to make it look 4K quality, 2K quality, probably not even 720 quality, but I think it will make it look a little bit better. We're just going to add that there. Easy enough. Dash scanlines. Start this up. I'm not going to do a separate batch for that because I run all mine in Scanlines, so it's fine for me. Okay, as you can see, I think it looks a little bit better, but again, that's my preference, and your preference could be different. Alright, so anyways, I hope I taught you enough to get Actionmax going for your build. Again, any mouse, any light gun will work with this without any configuration. Using SendIn or whatever program you're using, if it comes with a GUI, make sure your GUI is turned on, whether it be the Gunfire GUI, whether it be the SendIn GUI. But anyways, y'all have a great day, and in the next video, we're going to go over covering the rest of the Singe games, minus the Captain Power. We'll get to those after that video. Anyways, y'all have a great one, and I will catch you later. Bye.